Okay, now let's see. Am I live? I think I am. I think I am. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, my God. You know, after I ended my live last night, I thought I was going to bed. But this haunted me. Yes, I got, I shit you not, shirt on today. Because that's what this calls for. Just so that you are aware, you'll see me looking in this direction once in a while. Because I've got notes up here. Anyhow, if you are new, if you're unfamiliar with this case, you know, I think most of the people are. About in November 13th of 2022 in Moscow, Idaho, 4 students from the University of Idaho were brutally unalived with a very sharp object that has a handle. And in late December 30th or something like that, 29th, Bryan Kohberger was arrested for this crime. Now, one of the things that I did was, after my live last night, I went back and watched some old videos of mine. Okay? Hello, Grace. I watched some old videos of mine from the very beginning, from the first video that I ever put out on the Idaho 4. And I watched a couple of my older videos. And I was trying to see where I may have misinterpreted, but I don't see where I misinterpreted cards. And I've gotten a lot better at reading true crime tarot than what I was when I first started. You know, a couple of things I kind of cringed at, like, Jen, this means this means that. But from video 1, hello, trans. From video 1, Loverboy was in the forefront. And going through a few of my videos and skipping ahead in the timeline in my playlist, watching another one, Loverboy has always been in the forefront. I can't shake that. But and by the way, I do want to stay on topic. Okay? So there are so many unanswered questions. And then I took it a step further. Me and Jules over at True Crime Reactions had the same mindset. I went and looked up cases where innocent people pled guilty out of fear of something or another, and the consistencies have been for lesser sentences. And where DNA had proved them innocent. Now, what I've noticed with all this is, since the bombshell was dropped yesterday evening, And there's no denying this was a bombshell. I didn't see it coming. I don't think anybody saw it coming. I don't think there was a single true crime sleuth or a true crime tarot reader that saw this coming. Him accepting a plea deal. And it's not an easy plea deal, but it takes the DP right off the table. But he gives up his rights to any kind of appeals. I wonder, with him doing that, what would happen if some miracle came to pass that evidence shifted away from him to prove him innocent, but but we're indicating someone else did this. Would they set him free? And I have a lot of questions for the cards today, including, like, why did the prosecution offer a plea deal? Was their case weak? And they made it out to be a lot stronger than what it was. And Kohberger's team said, you know what? Maybe you should take this. For both sides, the prosecution, the state, the prosecution, and the defense, going to trial was risky. To say, at best, it was risky. No one can get into the minds of the jurors. Nobody knows how a jury is going to react to certain evidence. The jury could have come back and said, you know what? Mr. Santa, you have not proved your case beyond a reasonable doubt, so we have to acquit. And I was thinking about a quote that came from, and for whatever reason I'm drawing a blank of his name, the prosecutor and the defense attorney for O.J. Simpson. Okay, and let's face it, this seems to be the largest high-profile case since O.J., in my humble opinion. Cochran. That was the defense attorney. What did he say to the jury? If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Now, conveniently, nobody was ever able to find the sharp object in this case. And it makes me think of the knife sheath. If it don't fit, you must acquit. Or if it doesn't match the wounds of the victims, if it don't fit, you must acquit. That keeps playing over in my mind. And I'm wondering if all of a sudden somebody's going to find it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when somebody, maybe it's not, I don't know, but when somebody takes a plea deal, that they have to prove, or they have to give a statement or explain to the state, the prosecutors, how they did it, step by step, what was their actions. I'm really curious about that myself. Yeah, Grace. That's a tough call. He probably should not have taken the plea. But, hi, Chloe. The flip side of the coin, risky for the prosecution, but risky for the defendant. Same idea with the jury. Maybe they feel that the prosecution has proved their case, that they proved it beyond a reasonable doubt, and they come back with a guilty plea. Now you're looking at, okay, DP, sentencing, and that's a mess too. And if he would even get a guilty plea, it ties the families up for years. Because when you think about it, he still has that right of appeal. He can appeal, and appeals could take years to go through. And the families have to relive it if he gets an appeal. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah, I hear you, Chloe. But I am not here to accuse or defend today, but here to dig into the truth with the cards. And my personal stance, though, has always been kind of not guilty, not innocent, somewhere in between, guilty of something. Do I think he did? No. Do I believe he had knowledge? Yes. Do I believe he played a part in the plan? Possibly. Did he have some kind of role? Most likely. Like the cleanup man, or the driver, or something to that effect. So, I am going to go ahead and change camera views. Okay. Yes, I agree. My grandma eyes here. Claire Louise. I absolutely agree. Something is not right. And I want an explanation for the 8 hours. I know what my card said, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Why the 8-hour delay in calling 911? If you're in a house with roommates or even family, you have several family members in your house, or you're living with roommates, with friends, and you hear all this ruckus, you hear screaming, you know there's an intruder in the house, something's going on. What are you going to do? I'm going to lock my fucking door, and I'm going to be 911, get the police over here right now. Somebody's in the process of unaliving my friends in the house, or my family members, or whatever. I'm going to lock my door and hide in my closet, or under my bed, or something. Make it make sense to me. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking the prosecution and the defense. Make it make sense. And Judge Hippler. Make it make sense. So right now, there's more questions than we have answers. There's the original questions and even more questions. Yeah. There was more involved. It wasn't him. And I still can't wrap my brain around how one person, somebody with the build of Bryan Kohberger, body build, can go in and do that to 4 people in such a short amount of time. The only way that could be possible is with a pow-pow, you know, not a sharp object. Yeah, I think there are powerful connections and corruption. And the corruption is so bad. It's in my humble opinion that he was coerced into the plea. And there's a reason why he's not speaking about who else might be involved. I think he knows. Bryan knows who did this. He knows what happened, and he knows why. And he's been silent for 2.5 years. But I want to get into these cards. I am using my True Crime and Investigations deck that I designed. I keep meaning to get these up on my website, and I haven't had time. I've got about 10 copies left. But we're going to use my deck today. I use a bunch of different True Crime decks, but we're using mine today. Yeah, 140 cards in this deck. It's a big one, and it's tarot size, not the small ones. And I probably will not do another print run because I was thinking about revising this deck, maybe making a smaller version. But we'll see. Even with 140 cards, maybe it's the size, dimensions, that makes it easier to shuffle than a poker size with the same amount of cards. Okay. Yeah, he took the plea to save his life. Absolutely. I honestly believe that. And even though the theory out there is that he could tie up the courts with appeals and stuff, if everything went to plan, they went to trial on August 18th. Because the only thing Hitler did is put it out for 1 week, because it was supposed to start on August 11th, but then it was rescheduled for August 18th. But with all the corruption, I'd be willing to bet appeals would have been denied, and they would have rushed him to the firing squad before anything could come out, before he could speak up about anything. They would have rushed him to the firing squad. And I'm wondering about how long is he really going to last in that prison. He would almost have to be segregated, not with the general population or whatever they call it. I don't even know what they call it in there. The GP, whatever, general population. I don't think he could possibly be part of the general population. Okay. Curious what the cards are going to say. Oh my God. This is, and I shit you not moment. This is, I shit you not. Change. Plot twist. Boom. Man, I wish I had the sound effects and stuff. I didn't have time to set all that up in this software. Boom, plot twist. How blunt. You can't get more blunt than that. Plot. Okay. Out of fear. A change of plans, a plot twist based on fear. Let's keep on going. Gift. This is like an offer. Okay. Let me adjust this. Always adjusting my camera to make sure everything's straight. There we go. So there's this plot twist that came out of fear. So he was given that offer of this plea deal. Mental illness. I shit you not. What was some of the latest shit coming out from the defense and from experts? He's on the spectrum. Justice. He's on the spectrum. He's offered this plea deal. And I don't think that they took it lightly. I think the defense weighed their options here. Okay. Here is the location of the, not exact location, but surroundings. The type of area where that sharp object, the weapon, is. Wooded area. Not only that, it's remote, wooded area. Maybe he had the job of getting rid of the weapon. Well, it's a perfect place for him to get rid of it. Where he hikes. But also, you know, I'm very visual. Sometimes the words don't jive with me, but the imagery does. Can't see the forest for the trees. They couldn't make their way forward. There was the defense felt that there was no path forward, no way forward because of all the foliage. They've been working on trying to cut a path. Male. I'm curious about the male. What about the... Traitor. Let's hang him. Let's put him out to dry. There was a male that... A male turned on Bryan. I want to know more. That I'm seeing abuse of power that instilled fear in him. And there's a woman. A male and female that turned on him. There's a male and female that turned on him. I'm getting family vibes here. Or could that be his defense team? He may feel betrayed by his defense team, but there's this fear. There's a lot of fear here. I only have one fear card. So this one reminds me of fear, not just the A word. I'm not even looking at the A word. I'm looking at the look on the woman's face. That fear. That despair. Oh no, I'm wrong. My guides just corrected me. This is the family of Kaylee Gonzalez that feels betrayed by the justice system. Okay, we're getting some more visuals here. Still, under a bridge in the wilderness. You look here, there's trees, even though this is change and plot twist, there's trees in that too. A bridge out in the wilderness, under a bridge, near water. That's where a male hid the knife. Explosion and fire. So now, there's something here. There's something that came up that put the fear of God in the defense. And it was a disaster. I wonder if they found it. I keep thinking that that knife is going to show up somewhere at the last minute. I wonder if it showed up. And there was a shock, and it was like going to destroy the defense's case. I'm wondering, because there's still a lot of information that we still haven't been told about. And I can imagine all the FOIA requests that's going to be going out very soon, in the next 30 days. Okay, there you go, drip drop. They found something, and I'm wondering if it was the actual weapon. And we haven't been told about it yet. Still under seal. Yeah. Yep. Man, I'm glad I chose my deck. I haven't used it very much, but it was talking. Again, my true crime and investigations. My true crime and investigations oracle. All right. Moving forward. I won't be able to see the chat because I got to bring up my list of questions on my screen so that I could see them. Okay. Bryan Kohberger's true role in the events on November 13th, 2022. Was he a bystander, a mastermind, a scapegoat, a participant of some sort? Four of Cups. Ten of Pentacles. Again, this Ten of Pentacles shows up all the time in this case. That's the frat house. That's the frat house. Ace of Cups. Nine of Cups. He was assigned a role that he did not want to play. That he had to protect the King of Pentacles, head of the frat house. There's the drinking and alcohol, but and he had to, I'm getting clean up. Obey the wishes of this King of Pentacles with the frat house. Because the King of Pentacles is protecting the frat house, and the King of Pentacles is barking commands to Kohberger, and he had to do what this guy wanted him to do, even if Bryan didn't want to. And I just get this cleansing, to where there was no trace. Which also reminds me, if he was directly involved, why wasn't there one trace of victim DNA in his car, in his apartment, at his parents' house, in the garbage, whatever? His garbage, you know, that he took out and put in his neighbor's garbage cans in Pennsylvania. Just saying, something else to think about. But it was his role, his job, to be the star of the show as a cleanser, cleaner. Now, whether he cleaned it directly or hired or got people to do it, there's something there about the cleanup. Okay. Was Bryan Kohberger present at the scene during the time of the unalivings? You know, because according to Cy Ray, he couldn't have been there. You know, I thought about that last night. I had a hard time sleeping last night, let me tell you. I thought about that, and I thought, multiple people involved. Someone take his car, take his cell phone with them, his cell phone being in his car, and then dropping him off, coming back and picking him up, why his car circles, but making sure his phone is somewhere away from Moscow. I thought about that. But again, it goes back to that conspiracy theory that there's more than one involved, that Bryan did not act alone. But here's what kills me. Now, the other comment I wanted to make. All of us readers and true crime sleuths that pinned him as innocent, as the scapegoat, taking the fall for this, okay? It seems like almost everybody, with the exception of Jules, has completely flipped. Now, she hasn't completely flipped. She's open-minded, but she's a critical thinker like I am. And we're asking the same questions. But let's see about his whereabouts. The moon. At night. Mysterious. Things unknown. Two of Pentacles. Back and forth. Four of Cups again. There's something imbalanced here. So going back and forth. I almost want to say, the cards are saying, you don't want to hear this, but he was definitely out at night driving, and he was circling around in like a figure 8. He was in the general vicinity. King of Swords. He was in the general vicinity to make sure things went as planned. He may even have been watched. Two of Swords. But he did not act. Seven of Wands. Wheel of Fortune. He was paired up with somebody else that night. And they were driving around. Really with no destination. It's unknown exactly where all Bryan Kohberger and somebody else had gone. We've got two twos here indicating two people. Bryan wasn't alone. But his testimony of, I was driving around, was truth. Could he have been at that Wawa park? Absolutely. Wawa or whatever it's called. But he kind of made circles, keeping an eye on. And he was with a King of Swords. Somebody, he might even have been allegedly speaking entertainment purposes only. And I forgot to say that. The disclaimer is above this video window, this camera view. But this is not based on fact, just my opinion, my interpretation of the cards. Throw your own cards from your own research. Do your own research, etc., etc. Just a blonde throwing cards here. But There's an idea. Going and the Wheel of Fortune spins in circles, right? Driving in circles. Maybe even in figure 8. Infinity. Okay. I think I might have been on to something because I just heard infinity. Does an infinity... I got to ask you guys this. Does an infinity look anything like an elantra? I don't know if anybody's in the chat that can answer that. Does an infinity look anything like an elantra? Well, Brent could have been someone that betrayed him. Let me do this so I don't hold up the live. I'm going to do a quick search. No, it does not look like a Hyundai Elantra. Both are sedans. They are produced by different manufacturers with distinct designs. Double grille, elegant LED lighting. And the Elantra has more of a sporty style with a spoiler. I don't know why I got infinity. So we'll just say that perhaps driving endlessly maybe. Or maybe there wasn't an infinity involved. I don't know. But he and somebody else was driving at infinity. And I was about to say, maybe he was cruising around with a police car. With a police officer. Allegedly speaking. Aren't some police cruisers infinities? I'm pretty sure I've seen police cruisers that were infinities. Just saying. But there's somebody in a place of authority that he was around that night. Kept driving in circles to keep an eye out for anyone that wasn't supposed to be in the area. That's my take on that. Okay. Yeah, that was my take on it too. For a second there, I went and Googled it too. And it says no, but I saw some similarities. Okay, let me get my list of questions again. So he wasn't directly at the scene, but he was in the area driving around, but not alone, which the cards answered the next question. Did Bryan act alone, or were there others directly involved? I think the cards have already answered that. Was Bryan working for or with somebody else? Yes, he was, according even just the first two spreads. Okay. The next one. Why would he accept a plea deal now after maintaining innocence for over a year? For a year and a half. Could be pressure, safety concerns, coercion, or some kind of tactic. Let's take a look. Keep your fingers crossed that there's no lightning and thunder. Shit. So that somebody, a big fur ball, so she don't get upset. The devil and judgment. A very evil force behind this whole thing. Judgment. This is making me think, you're going to go in your grave, sonny boy. But let's keep on shuffling. And the devil is deception. Why did he accept the plea deal now? There's something about deception and something really dark about him accepting a plea deal. Possibly concerning the jury. Don't let me end this live without asking if the jury is tainted, because I'm not sure if that's on my list. Okay. Why now to accept a plea deal? We got the Two of Wands. The plea deal because he was at a crossroads. A decision. Because somebody came forward or presented some new evidence or something like that. Could even be Loverboy. But I don't. In this particular question, this is not lover boy. This is, I have to make a decision. I'm at this crossroads now because something else was presented or come up. And that involved, which created this exchange, this bargaining. This could also be read, I'm at a crossroads now because I was offered this deal. Because I know that there's going to be a loss. 5 of Cups, emotional loss, regret, guilt. Let's keep on going. Seven of Swords. 7 of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. And High Priestess. To me, this is reading, I'm at this crossroads, that I feel like that there is no escape. I've been evaluating my position, trying to hold on to life and hold on to my truth. I have stayed silent about what really happened, though I have regrets. I am guilty of lying. He lied about something. But I've been offered this plea, and we worked out the details. Queen of Wands, or Zan. King of Pentacles. Who is this fucking King of Pentacles? I don't know if we'll ever know. But working out a business agreement. 9 of Swords. I just want this nightmare to end. There's 2 people here, a female and a male, working out the details to try to end this whole nightmarish situation. Guilty knowledge, yeah. And there's something solid here. Sorry, Daisy's trying to climb underneath my desk. Ugh. The Knight of Pentacles, when you think about it. It's solid, secure, steady, a sure thing. The High Priestess is also about the unknown. We do not know how this is going to go. If we don't accept this plea deal, we might regret it later. I still got 2 knights coming forward. This feels like they found some damning evidence. Justice. Page of Wands. So, the justice system, the courts, has his idea and communicates. It says, let's stop the fighting now. Go to court and try to battle this out. Queen of Cups. 3 of Pentacles. And you go in front of the jury. There's some kind of sympathizer on the jury. There's a sympathizer on the jury. And it's like, you're going to lose, Bryan. you go to court, you're going to lose. And it almost feels like a fear tactic. Whatever came up, hopefully we find out, took the wind right out of his sails. Yes, I agree, Mustang. I agree. You know, my stance has been every time I do these readings, and when I interject and bring Bryan Kohberger into the reading, okay, and the reading's about him, I get the same energy. He didn't do the unalivings. He did not physically harm those victims. But he was guilty in the sense he knew about it. He participated at some level. Knowledge, cleanup, something. So I've always had the stance that he deserved to be behind bars. Not for life. Well, maybe life. But he didn't deserve the DP. And he didn't deserve to go down for the actual physical crime itself. Other people need to go down too, not just him. And if you think back, think about this for a minute. At the very beginning, when he was arrested, he asked a question, but the question was not in the PCA. And there's a lot of people out there that dispute whether he really asked this or not. It was there anybody else arrested? Do you remember that? Let's ask that real quick. I just want to get an overall answer. I just want to know, did Bryan Kohberger actually ask that question? Or were we told, no, it never happened and it was omitted from the PCA for a reason? I didn't say Rosie. I said Daisy. Oh, Rosie. I don't know who Rosie is. Oh. I don't know. Seven of Wands again. Oh, absolutely. Right here says it all. In his defense, when he was arrested, he wanted to know who else was arrested also. He knew he wasn't the only one. Earlier I was talking about Daisy, my 120-pound Great Pyrenees, that thinks that she could fit. My desk has reference. You can't see my other hand. But this area, small area, and the desk is not that deep. Maybe the length of my arm, deep. And probably not a little bit wider than my body of an opening underneath the desk. Because on one side there's shelves, and on the other side there's sets of shelves. Then there's where you slide in, and it even has a pull-out drawer for a keyboard that I don't even use. She squeezes her 120-pound body in that little area underneath my desk when it starts storming or when it starts raining. Okay. And tomorrow By the way, you've heard me talk about this. Tomorrow's a day that we have the meet and greet for Dutton to see if he goes to a new home. I'm just grateful. I feel like it was meant to be because the first person that answered the ad's 15 minutes away from me. And they answered the ad not knowing that my son knew them and was connected to the guy, the father of the family, through the fire department. Because they were firemen together. So, anyhow, let me get back to my questions. Okay, there's so many questions here. I might have to do a part 2. Or I will have to take a little bit of a breather of a break. That was a lot in just that first segment. The big unanswered questions. Let me see. There's like 4 sets of questions here. Been on for an hour. Okay. Next part's about Dylan. What Dylan heard and saw. What did Dylan really witness or experience during the event? What did Dylan witness or experience during the event? What did Dylan witness or experience during the event? 2 of Wands. The Star, 7 of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. I would say she was emotionless. Can't deny that. The Star, the bigger picture, she saw everything. And she made the decision to wait it out. And she saw more than one person. Bare minimum 2 in the house. Bare minimum. She saw 2. And she recognized them. She knows exactly who they were. But she waited it out patiently. And she felt nothing. No emotions at all. Very cold, calculated. She knows the truth. She knows the truth. Why didn't Dylan call 911 immediately? Why didn't Dylan call 911 immediately while things were going on? As you think about it, if she would have, maybe there could have been lives saved. Before anybody passed, they could have maybe been transported to a hospital, might have been able to be saved. And if that would have happened, we wouldn't be here today doing this. emperor. She was told not to. Wheel of Fortune. She was told not to she had to let it all play out. The Emperor had the wheel. Judgment. Yes. She was told by the Emperor, you have to let it all play out. Because it was Judgment Day for the Four in the Emperor's eyes. Is there any truth to the alleged message that Dylan texted about thinking someone was unalive? You know, there was some kind of message that went out allegedly. I have not been able to confirm it. I saw screenshots online, but you know, somebody with just maybe a little bit of graphic design skills can create this image. A fake text message screen. Okay. That said, basically it's kind of like, I think they are being unalive. She said that to somebody. I'm not sure who. So is there any truth to that? Did that message exist? I shit you not. It absolutely did. Text messages going back and forth. Not just between, it might have been between her and Bethany, but I think there's a lot of text messages going on. Not just between them two, but with other people. That's a definite yes. I think we know the answer to this. Was Dylan protecting someone she knew, or was she silenced or threatened? She was told to shut up. We know this. But let's just get confirmation. For shits and giggles. Let's get confirmation. The Star. She was silenced by somebody very important. She had to stay silent about what she saw and knew. Queen of Cups is coming across as Bethany. She was texting with Bethany. She sent that text to Bethany, is what the cards are telling me. Okay. This is heavy energy. And I'm going to take down my cameras real quick. Yeah, I'm going to take a quick break. Okay. I need to breathe for a minute because this energy is really, really, really heavy. Be about a 5-minute break. I will be back. Nobody go anywhere. Anybody pops in and says, well, where's the video? Maybe I'll put this up here. Let me unpin this. Unpin. Okay. BRB. Okay. Now I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I was about to say, yeah, the reason is the Dalmatian. I'm not saying his name because he's sleeping and I don't want to wake him up. As soon as I say his name, he'll perk up and he'll be nudging me and stuff. But he's very high energy. I can't walk him. He's too strong. He's almost pulled me over several times. And I'm 56 years old. I don't need him pulling me and say I'm trying to walk him down the sidewalk or something. Him pull me over, me fall on the concrete and crack a hip or something like that. I have to look at my age, my condition. I'm getting older. I don't need a broken hip or any other broken bones or any other injuries. And he's going to, like a firefighter friend of my son's who already has 2 other Dalmatians and they want to add a third. He's going to a good home. They have not just a fenced in backyard. It's almost enclosed. It's like a kennel, a huge kennel across in their backyard where they could run around. And there's no possible way Mr. Escape Artist is going to find a way to escape. They go on camping trips and stuff with their dogs. He doesn't get to experience that because I can't handle him. We took him places before my son met his wife and he moved out and got married. But when we got him, he wasn't anticipating on meeting somebody and then ending up moving out of this house and in with her and getting married. Neither was I. And we ended up with Daisy. Also, I wanted my Great Pyrenees. I wanted one. We wanted a playmate for Dutton. And then we got Daisy. But Dutton doesn't get along with Luna. Luna stays downstairs most of the time. My studio is upstairs and has been upstairs for a year now. But Luna gets along with Daisy. So you guys are going to start seeing Luna again because, I don't want to, I loved Dutton. I love him with all my heart. He was my baby. But he's going to a much better home that can deal with him. There's young people, young teenagers and stuff that can handle him. And will start coming upstairs. I think he'll be okay. I am a little concerned about Daisy if she's going to be lost, but she'll adjust. And I could take her to the dog park and stuff like that. I can handle her. She's twice the size of Dutton, twice as strong as him, but she's gentle. So I can handle her, but not the fireball over here. Okay, with that said, I am going to take a quick break. I'm not going anywhere. I am just taking me off screen for a few minutes. Be right back. Okay, we are back in business. Hope you all got to stretch your legs a little bit, get something to drink, potty break. I got my potty break. I got a glass of tea. And let's pick up and keep on going. Okay, hello, Aaron. Yeah, I'm more than halfway through this. Just took a break. Let's go back over here. Okay. Yeah, you might see my mouse moving in the video, but I need to bring up my list of questions again. Okay, so the next part that we're going to go through is the 8-hour delay. What happened in those 8 hours between the event and the 911 call? What was going on in those 8 hours from the time of the event and the time of the 911 call? What was going on? A lot of partying, or cleanup, overindulgence. 9 of Cups, fulfilling a wish. I would say, I'm thinking a lot of Queen of Pentacles. We got the goods, we got the evidence. We need to clean this up. Two of Swords. That is no text messages. Two of Swords is a blocking. It's a denial. Dogs are alerting to somebody outside. Chariot, the car. This is people coming and going. And there's inaction. Okay, there's the delay. The delay was caused by, like the female, causing the delay because she had fulfilling the desires of somebody else. And there were a lot of people coming to the scene. We know that. To the house, the hermit. Hiding out. We have to hide out till... There's a denial here. The Emperor. Two of Cups. This is, we cannot call the 911 or the police to have them come to the house. We were advised by the Emperor to wait. You guys have to work together and be strong. There's some kind of payout here. I'm going to put this out there. One of the perps was still in the house. Somebody was still there at the house. She couldn't call 911 because the Emperor, there's somebody doing the Emperor's deeds still at the house. And they had to take care of the evidence. That's why. And I think we already know the answer to this. But the next question dealing with the 8-hour delay is, was this all a cover-up? 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 Knight of Pentacles. So, this is the Queen of Pentacles again, with the Knight of Pentacles facing each other, being slow after the fact. Shit. There's 2 cards here. I said there were 2 people involved. Now we got the King of Cups. Oh, that's the emotional support that was coming after the aftermath of what happened in the house. And so she was delaying because she was being watched. There's the King of Pentacles again. Being watched by the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is coming across as like the middleman between the occupants of the house and the Emperor. Silence in the chaos. Five of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. The King of Pentacles has money. This could even be a couple, King and Queen of Pentacles. This is saying, yes, this has been a cover-up. We have a King and Queen of Pentacles here, a divine couple. We also have the King of Cups. We have the Knight of Cups. With somebody being abandoned. I said all along that there was more than one motive, too. There was something dealing with money and substances. There was somebody running their mouth. There was somebody that had to be silenced. That came out earlier in the reading. There was keeping the chaos quiet for those 8 hours. There was other people coming on the scene to the house, showed in the last set of cards put out. But somebody feels like they got victory over being abandoned. Once again, folks, who does the Knight of Cups represent in my readings on the Idaho 4? See how many people paid attention to my readings over the past year. Lover boy. Okay. Let's get to the next set. The cell phone data. Okay. And the first question for the cards. Why does the cell phone data not place Bryan at the scene during the event? I mean, was he somewhere else entirely? Was data manipulated? Is there a technological explanation? This is going back to that about Cy Ray, who could not put Bryan at the scene. Okay? Put him southwest of Moscow at the time that this was going on. His cell phone data. I mean, he was involved at some level, but he didn't do the deed. I'm still not seeing him doing the deed. Okay. Now, we're looking at the cell phone data. How could Cy Ray put his whole career on the line here? Being on the defense side. And the first time ever in Cy Ray's whole entire career has he ever testified or was willing to testify for a defense. He's always been on the prosecution side, using his technology to place criminals at certain scenes and putting them behind bars. This is total opposite. He put his reputation and career on the line. So, for them to take a plea deal, and for him to say, oh, I did it. I took all 4 of them out in 13 minutes or whatever the ridiculous time was. I don't think it's humanly possible for one person, like I said at the beginning of this live, to take 4 human beings out. And one of them being athletic. Hello, athletic without a pow-pow. Okay? Sorry, but not sorry. It's... Was he superhuman? Was he Superman's evil twin? That he could do it in a blink of an eye? Sorry, this is not Marvel films. You know? This is not a Marvel movie. Hello, Rock That Body. So, let's see what the explanation is about the cell phone data. Yes, I'm going to look. The further I get into this reading, the more salty I get. The chariot. What about the chariot? Two of Swords. Cannot see the vehicle. The real one was not caught on video. Not looked at. You know how I said earlier on, I asked the question, you know, when I was reading and infinity flew out of my mouth. And I said, How close does an infinity around that year resemble an Elantra? A lot of police cruisers at certain time frames were infinities. Was Bryan riding around in a police cruiser? And his cell phone someplace else? With somebody else? This just feels really... something's off. Evidence, information. And this fucking high priestess keeps popping up. The holder of secrets. Secret knowledge about the data that is being blocked concerning his location. Oh, shit. That's why the courts are blocking the evidence. There's going to be a ruling where Cy Ray's testimony was not going to be admissible. That's why. That's why it was not going to be effective in the trial. That's why there's this panic all of a sudden on the defense's side. Secret. It's like the data being hidden, not to be told in front of a jury. It's like being totally blocked. Motherfucker. Sorry. Sorry, but not sorry for my language. Okay, let's keep moving on. I don't even know how many questions I had on my list. I comprised them. I worked on this last night and some this morning. Oh, we're on the last one. The bigger force, the bigger picture. I think we answered the part. Oh, is someone in law enforcement or prosecution withholding key information? That was answered just now. Bigger picture, institutional criminal network or higher authority protecting the real story. I think we know this one. But I'll throw the cards anyhow. I'll humor it. I didn't mean for this to be a 2-hour-long live, but it is what it is. I mean, if I was recording this, I probably would have just breezed right through it. Or did it in 2 parts. Cutting the deck. Going round and round and round. I said this earlier that they were cruising. There's the infinity while the event was happening. There's the violence. The fighting. Victims trying to fight him off. There's a King of Cups. I shit you not. The 4 unalivings. Wands. Why does this Knight of Pentacles keep coming up too? Yeah, there's a cover-up. And there's somebody, I'm telling you, he's shown up at all throughout this reading too. There's several players that keep showing up in more than one spread. We have somebody here who is acting very compassionate, trying to be understanding. A little bit mature, or trying to act mature in the situation that he was part of. The battle in the unalivings. But he's got to carry this burden because he has to remain loyal as he maintains his loyalty and protects the evidence. I mean, I can't read that any other way. Okay. The last thing I want to do is throw a couple more oracle cards. This is one of Alicia Wicker's decks. I think I used it in one other reading. I could get rid of that now. Then I'll play catch up on the chat. I don't even remember what she called this deck. Has a little bit of a darker tone to it. Very big, very large. With my size of hands, it's almost hard to handle. So let's see if another I shit you not moment. Can you read that? The veils of deception obscure the view. Not all is what it seems, folks. And what did I just get done saying? King and Queen of Pentacles, a couple. A couple ushers in a blend of mystery. That could be Emma. Feminine energy flows around. Can you say surviving roommate? Allegedly speaking, entertainment purposes only. Drama distracts from the truth. Material desires. Money, 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 money. And it's starting to storm, so I'm going to be ending this live soon because I'm going to have a very upset Daisy very soon. The answer is in the question you fear to ask. We got this theme here. Using the visuals, the pictures. What do you think? Just looking at the pictures, not the words. And we got all this mystery. Being left in the dark. And the veil of deception. And follow the money, honey. Follow the money, honey. What do I think happened here? Why do I think Bryan Kohberger was forced into this plea deal? And I think he was forced into it. Some high people were paid off. High people were paid off. And his back was against the wall. Innocent or not, his back was against the wall. And he's taken the fall for an organization, for everybody involved. Other people involved that deserves to be brought to justice won't be at this point in time. Another case of an innocent man pleading guilty to a crime he did not commit. It's happened so many times. I think Jules said, Innocent Project. Go look at their website. How many have pled guilty? That were innocent. He's innocent of the big M word. Not innocent of conspiracy. Not innocent of other illegal activities involving the crime, this tragedy. But he didn't do the actual crime. That is my synopsis. Okay. Now, I need to get caught up on some comments. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. Just hold on. Yes, I've quoted that recently, Beverly, about they're going to get you for this. The Showalter had said to the girls. Oh, I don't know if anybody answered you yet because I'm only partially through the back comments. What that card said were veils of deception obscure the view. Okay. Beverly, that's a possibility. He could have been offered money for his parents to live in comfort. Hi, Omega. I'm getting ready to. Oh, hi, Sarah. Welcome. And thank you about my t-shirt. In most of my, I think in the description box or something like that, there's a link where you can actually purchase these shirts. Description box. It's like my merch on my channel. There's cups and there's mugs, shirts, sweatshirts. Yeah, unfortunately, Sarah, the readings is done. You're probably going to have to watch the replay, even though it's a long one. Let's see, I started at 11:08, and it's 2 hours. 2 hours. I did take like a 10-minute break, but oh, this was so totally mind-blowing. Trish, there was a case so similar here in North Dakota, just about the same circumstance. One guy, unaided, 4 people, or unallowed, yeah, 4 people with a sharp object, and he got found guilty, and he appealed the next day. He supposedly, okay, yeah. And here's the thing. People, you hear things like, oh, our justice system has become so corrupt. Yeah, it has. It's getting worse. But really, it's been corrupt for decades. Decades. The difference is that with the internet age, we hear about it all. You really couldn't research on the internet. I mean, it's really difficult for the average person to do research on cases before the internet. You have to go to the library, look up newspaper articles, and hope you find your information. It's always been corrupt. There's always been dirty cops, dirty judges, the whole 9 yards. It's just with the internet, they hide in plain sight. Easy to research and look up the cases, and so much more coverage. If this particular case, if Bryan Kohberger and all the victims and all the players involved would have been alive and all this going on, it's in the 1970s, we may not have heard about it. This may not have made national news, let alone worldwide news. Those people, my friends in Australia or in the UK, would never even know that this happened, most likely. Especially in a small town. Swept under the carpet. It would have been really, really quiet. Unless you were in that local area with a local television station, if you were lucky enough to have a television. Corruption would have still been there, would have still went on. Anyhow, not only is the thunder rumbling outside right now, and Daisy's cowering like down under the desk and putting her head on my feet. She's upset. My belly's grumbling. My belly needs food. I don't know if I could do that, Sarah. I'll think about it. I've got 2 channels. I've got my DoorDash channel also. I just have so much going on this week. A lot of going on. My car's getting the transmission fluid exchanged tomorrow and getting the transmission system flushed. To see if I could get rid of that little problem that I'm having with the transmission. In addition to that, we have that meet and greet for Dutton tomorrow. My son's coming here to pick me and Dutton up. We have the 4th of July on Friday. Thursday, I'm going to have to be out door dashing because I'm not going to be able to work tomorrow. But I got other stuff going on tomorrow. So I'm not sure if I will have time, honey. Sarah, what is what called? Oh, my other channel is Grandma Dasher. Let me get out. I'll just put it here. You're welcome. Okay, folks, with that said, I am going to log off now. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all your support and coming here and joining the chat. This was fun. And, when I was on my little break, I was thinking to myself, I need to do these lives more often. I get to interact with you more. And I'm like, I don't have to edit anything. And the live, and it's already on YouTube. I don't have to do any uploading. But they do typically end up longer. Still takes just as long between recording and editing. So, Sarah. Oh, that's awesome, Omega. That's awesome. Good job. No, I didn't see that comment earlier. Okay. Okay, I love you all. And you have a wonderful night. Wonderful night. Wonderful day. It's 1:15. Okay, I need food. Bye.